maybe down the road, I can submit these ideas and get a cut off of it from the skin design department.
Yeah, wait for the next skin design contest, right? Remember, right now, I think there's a Kadita skin contest going on as well. So yeah, I think it's already ended. I can't really exactly remember, but I'm not a Kadita fan. But speaking about Kadita, there you go. AP BREN takes away the Kadita and Paquito. Same bands, one Bigatron Alpha as well. But this time around, AP BREN going in first pick. Kaja is really wide open. I believe Awkward and also Super Vin are looking at this hero. But I think Bigatron Alpha may deny that from both these two players.
We see, the Fanny banned out this time by AP BREN, so showing respect to Super Ken overall, right? They're like, well, we beat the Fanny, but the Fanny gave us a massive headache, and we don't want to go through that again. Let's see if Bigatron Alpha, what else do they have? There's no Link, there's no Fanny. If you kind of go down the list, maybe Hayabusa is going to be the next pick, maybe the Lancelot is going to be one of the choices for Bigatron Alpha, but aside from that, I think AP BREN has at least slowed down a big part of Bigatron Alpha's tempo.
Yeah, right now, Joy's open, the Kaja is open, Faramis is also open. AP BREN will seek to take that up. I remember AP BREN suffered a little bit when they allowed Evo's Legends to pick up their Faramis. They're not going to allow that to happen, but because there's a Faramis on the other side, Valentina already taken away, Bigatron Alpha needs to match that Faramis, right? Angela is also worked quite well for the side of Bigatron Alpha, especially the fact that you also provide heals and that's slow as well. And it's like the same idea as a Florin, right? You could just land the support even though you're on the other side of the map.
We see the Faramis being picked up instantly by AP BREN, so you have this, again, this fallback plan with the Cow Alta, but that also opens up some possibilities for Bigatron Alpha, right? We've seen solutions such as the Minotaur second phase, we've seen solutions such as the Joy, the Farsight, the Artillery, and even, well, the Melissa, right? With the models, you can basically just spread all the damage to everyone inside the Cow Alta.
Bigatron Alpha is going pure AoE, like Joy's ultimate and the models at the same time, right? And that's the reason why Bigatron Alpha banned away the clone. I feel like they really wanted this Melissa pick already, so they immediately went for that one. Now, it's up to AP BREN to react towards these two picks, right? Kaja is wide open though, but if Bigatron Alpha didn't pick up the Kaja to protect their own Joy, I think they know how to counter the Kaja using that Joy, right? So AP BREN, it's up to them whether they want to fall into that one. Usually, if you want to pick Faramis with Cow Alta, you want something with a very strong front line, right? Yes, the Arlot is kind of like a pseudo front line as well, but I feel like the Kaja is not a very good hero for the side of AP BREN, because if Kaja is going to get busted out if he tries to open the map, and Cow Alta is only just delays the inevitable, right?
Yeah. And we see the Hayabusa picked up by Kao TZ as well. He also played it yesterday, game 2 against Evo's Legends, had a perfect game. I believe 6-0 was the score. So I think you also take away one of the possibilities that Super Ken can go for. And this could relegate the Joy back into the jungle. We've seen it plenty of times. So I think Bigatron Alpha are not too worried, hence why they are going to go for the Grok.
And apart from that, AP BREN has actually used Kao TZ's Hayabusa to eat up Melissa, right? And we saw that in Evo's Legends as well, when Brands actually went for the Melissa pick, because when you use the go away models, the Shadow Q doesn't really care. The iframe is the one that prevents him, or well, allows him to still output the damage even though he's in the iframe, right? And there's also another counter towards the Melissa. There's also an Arlot as well. So like I said, AP BREN selecting these two heroes are reactions towards Melissa and Grok right here. The Wild Charge AoE, same idea to counteract against the Cow Alta. When everybody is inside the Cow Alta, it's very easy to land down the Wild Charge to knock everybody up, and then Bigatron Alpha just dumps all the AoE damage they've got into that small little line.
Yeah. And so you see the Franco instantly banned out. Want to eliminate any possibilities of this Joy being locked down. I think Bigatron Alpha, you mentioned earlier on that the Kaja might not be the best choice for AP BREN because he just gets shredded if he tries to check the map. So I think Bigatron Alpha probably would just let the Kaja open. But for AP BREN, they're looking to ban out some mages. They're banning out the Eve this time.
Yeah, I like the Eve ban, right? If you remember, Bigatron Alpha going for this AoE, Eve is a really strong hero against to couple that AoE damage, right? And I'm not surprised AP BREN also decided to go down that line since they've already secured a mage, right, to ban away the Farsa as well. So Bigatron Alpha right here is still also very flexible for them, right? The Grok can also go into the EXP lane, the Joy can also go to the EXP lane, the Joy can go into the jungle, the Grok can technically go into the roam and the jungle as well. So Bigatron Alpha is a very flexible roster, right? But Bigatron Alpha are just gonna make sure that the Joy is uncontested. There you go. That's a card drop ban from the side of Bigatron Alpha.
Yes. Playing it safe, right? Making sure that
Mhm.
Joy is not going to ever get pulled. You don't want anyone to get kidnapped. And it does give them a lot more freedom to work with. So I think right now the onus is going to be on the side of AP BREN, right? What are the heroes can they go for in the roam role, right? You've already missed out on both the heroes that has a guaranteed crowd control with their ultimates. What else is good in the roam? Are we looking for something like Minotaur again, which they have spotted a few times? Are we looking at a potential Kufra pick?
Yeah, I think Minotaur may work quite okay because, you know, the range is quite big. So even though Melissa goes into the protect go away models, yeah, the AoEs will still hit. There you go. It's still the key going back into the Angela pick. They've found a lot of successes with this one. And because of this, I feel like Bigatron Alpha may go for Lancelot, obviously, right? Because it also allows the Lancelot to survive even longer with the Angela. But AP BREN should know that there's a Lancelot coming in. I think the Kufra really works quite well as well because of the bouncing ball. Just at the very least, just prevents the Melissa from dashing around, hopefully speaking. But it's also a very good engage coming from AP BREN, right? Final sweep to pick somebody up and then just jump all the way in. But there you go. It's going to be Harif. And speaking of which, that's a Cho coming in first the side of AP BREN.
So this is going to be a Roam wait, not a Roam Faramis, right? It's
nope.
It's a mage.
Oh,
right.
It's
It's a gold lane. It's a gold lane Harif. There it is. A Roam Cho.
Yep.
I think we've seen Cho from one of the games. Was it? I think it was played by D7 as well. And even though that game was a loss, but it was still a fantastic showing of how Cho can kind of shut you down when he gets a pick off, right? It's kind of like a pseudo Franco, but you have to hard commit to it. And in this case, if you can find someone like a Joy, if you can someone get to the Melissa without getting pushed away, that is going to be the win condition for AP BREN. So for Bigatron Alpha, they're like, well, you want to dash around here and there, they're going to bring out the Kufra as an answer.
Yeah, this is also one of Vin's heroes, like the Kufra. Jumping and bouncing around. Now you start to see that the Harif gets a little bit scary, right? Now you also start the field hole. May not be an easy game because you're up against a Kufra, right? But there you go. That's a Joy from the side of jungle, from the side of Bigatron Alpha, the Grok going to the EXP lane. So a very good tanky front. You also got someone to stun lock everybody. Like I said, you're going into the idea of I'm gonna try fighting AoE. There you go. You got AoE stun, you got AoE damage, you got AoE knock up at the same time, and you also, just in case if anything happens, you don't want your Kufra to go down. There's still the Angela to tag onto the Kufra as well. And with Kufra bouncing around, preventing you from running away, you get slowed by the heartstrings, and also the first skill of Angela, man, is perma slow coming out, and it makes Kufra even more scarier for the side of Bigatron Alpha.
Yeah, there's so many ways to keep you away, right? You have to go away, to get away from Melissa. You have the Kufra Tyrant's Rage to kind of sweep you away like a broom. So Bigatron Alpha, they have a very good front to back comp. Let's see what AP BREN can do with this, right? Completely polarizing personalities on both teams with their competition. Here it is, game 2 between AP BREN and Bigatron Alpha.
Yeah, KalTC is looking to actually shut down Saken early on. That's why Super Marco this time around going in for a stronger gold laner. They should have better gold priority. KalTC right here. With the current talent update, I think Hayabusa is actually stronger right now in the earlier parts of the game. Before that, he needs like level 6, but no, now because of lethal ignition, it actually hurts like a truck. So that means that KalTC is going to get a lot more value out of this lethal ignition, but Super Vin jumping in, Ogwen has to just get out of there. Jit Kundo out.
Trying to clear the wave as fast as possible, so it does prompt Super Vin to show up. We've seen this Grok XP lane every now and then, and in this case, you kind of take away a bit of that invade potential early on, but you do have a Grok that is going to absolutely smack you to the ground with that force of nature early on. He in danger though. KalTC just punishes him with the first blood as Super Vin shows up with a bouncing ball, trying to take few away, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case as Super Ken now having to tank out the OG Shadow kill. KalTC with the help of Phil will get a double.
AP BREN right here coming in the nick of time. KalTC used key to get into level 4 and then just transitions into a shadow kill. AP BREN is basically thinking 2 steps ahead as compared to Bigatron Alpha, and this is a very scary team. Ghostbusters coming in just in the nick of time. Ogwen looking for a pick-off right here. Super Vin still knocking up 2.
Look at the massive damage from KalTC, right? You said before this new emblem, giving the Hayabusa a lot more than early damage with the lethal ignition. And we see that every time he shows up for a trade, you have people like Key, not exactly the most durable hero to deal with a Hayabusa. In fact, right, who can expect a little girl to deal with a ninja? No one, right? No girls have, no little kid has ever won against a ninja.
I'm trying to think of any Naruto reference to pull out right there, Husky, but of course, I couldn't think of any for now. But AP BREN right here in a solid start, right? Super Bin gets knocked out by Ogwen at the same time. There's a big wave that Super Bin needs to deal with. He's not even level 4 yet, and the turtle is up. Kaltizi has the turtle priority.
So Rizzo able to chunk down a lot of HP from Kaltizi, but he also is losing a lot of that health. Final slash from Kaltizi does miss. Super Ken shows up, forces the call Alter out from field, has the Angela heartstrings with him as well. The heart guard is going to allow him to get the turtle away as AP BREN tries to fight this one. Super Vin dropping low, Kaltizi back in the fight, but Super Ken should be able to get away with the help of Key. That hard guard Q is just massive.
Yeah, the hard guard heal was the differentiation for the side of Bigatron Alpha, because AP BREN, don't forget, like I said, they have the turtle priority, but Bigatron Alpha wrestled it away. But take a look at the emblems, right? Like both of these two assassins going in, but something very for the lethal ignition, something interesting in my opinion for the side of Bigatron Alpha, that Joy Super Ken, instead of going for the assassin emblem, he went for the mage emblem. Needs more raw damage, right, to supplement the early game. And going into the later parts of the game, Kaltizi does have enough damage. Oh, that's a purple buff. Still secured by Kaltizi, luckily.
Super Ken, good attempt. Unfortunately, Kaltizi just a bit sharper on that red tree, and now he's looking for an opportunity. Goes right in. The lethal initial proc is ready to dead. Only shadow kill mitigated by the hard guard as AP BREN will be able to chase for more kills.
Super Bin, I think great. Oh, okay, Zorizo actually knocks out Flaptizi. Super Bin, that was a very sus ultimate right there, but then again, Kaltizi, because they know that Bigatron Alpha doesn't really have these big ultimates, right? Maybe AP BREN wants to make a play out of this.
Wants to go for Ogwen. It's a chill, not that easy to take down. Super Win getting pulled back and instantly just, wow, swept and kick all the way back to the tier 1. And that's an easy kill for AP BREN.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting, right? Like awkward, nice kick, and also nice sweep. So this pick-up potential is gonna put you even further away from the team, so that AP BREN can successfully it's just playing basketball, right? Just using Super Bin as a ball instead. No bouncing ball, pun intended right there, but just passing from awkward over to side of Flaptizi and right into the third man. Beautiful plays coming off of AP BREN, but Bigatron Alpha right now with a bit of a awkward early game, but they're still not shy away from the goalie. Bigatron Alpha, don't forget, Melissa going to the late game, Saken is still farming. And Super Marco not finding a lot of successes in the early game this time around, so that's going to be a big problem for AP BREN.
They also get the flicker out of Zorizo. They try to go for the gank, second turtle up. Saken this time will be able to join his team. They say the same for Super Marco. Good Tyrant's Invest. Going straight onto Flaptizi. The call Alter will keep him alive, and he's going to flicker to the safety. Ogwen by his side. Bigatron Alpha having just more health pool if there's ever a turtle fight.
Yeah, nice kill coming on Super Marco. He's needed to basically shove the mid lane so that, Bigatron Alpha needs to deal with the mid lane before actually going to the turtle. Now Super Ken jumping around. He does have the hard guard.
He's going to try to do as much damage as possible. The final slash is going to be there, but Super Ken doing massive damage to field. The kick coming out, taking out Zorizo. AP BREN Ogwen finding the pick once more. This entire turtle will be resetted. But Bigatron Alpha, they still have the health to work with if they want to. Top side, Saken also pushed away.
AP BREN right now, they lost the turtle priority again because Bigatron Alpha knows how to dance around the turtle, and not only just that, Saken is just hard shoving up top while Super Marco is too busy, needs to land on support for his team in order to win the turtle fight. Saken is actually power pushing up top. Look at the top side, gold lane for the side. AP BREN is super low at the same time. Super Marco trying to this time around joining fight. Super Vin jumping in.
He's just soaking up majority of the damage. Bigatron Alpha back in the fight already. The turtle control is going to be completely surrendered to Bigatron Alpha. No contest at all. Super can get that objective. So we're gonna have kind of a minor pause coming out as we figure out what the pause is going to be all about. But for now, we're in a pretty decent state, right? With AP BREN up 4-0, but thankfully for Bigatron Alpha, they do have 2 turtles for themselves. So end of the day, you still aren't losing out on too much. You're winning in terms of objectives. You're keeping the net worth pretty even. It seems like the pause is coming up from AP BREN, so we'll get that sorted out.
Yeah, definitely. But before we go into the pause earlier just now, I just want to do a bit of a quick recap, right? You said that Bigatron Alpha was able to secure two of these objectives, right? But if you take a look at the total kills, it is leading towards AP brand. So Bigatron Alpha, yes, they're lacking in the kills. They don't really have the damage in the early game to do anything for now. They need this big 5v5 fights, and the main ingredient for this big 5v5 fights for the side of Bigatron Alpha is that Melissa Saken has always stayed in lane to not, and he knows that his priority is not there yet. He needs to go into like the late game where he secures his Holy Trinity, right? Attack speed, 3 items Trinity in order to pop off. So as long as Bigatron Alpha doesn't lag behind too much in the gold lead, they may potentially catch up against AP Brand. But AP Brand, on the other hand, these kills are good. It allowed Kaltizi to snowball, but Kaltizi in the late game, if his shadows actually don't land onto Saken, Bigatron Alpha will win any team fight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Melissa, right? When you start spreading all the damage with the models, it does become a pain to deal with, and destroys the call out. Honestly, there's no one on the side of AP Brand that is going to be durable enough to outlast all these consistent damage out from Melissa. We're going to be back in the game and instantly secondary pause again. We'll get that sorted out as fast as possible, and that means, well, more time for us to kind of go through what could be the occasion. It could be the same pause again. AP Brand. They might have went in just for a secondary ping test to see if things are going smooth, and unfortunately, it still needs a bit more time to resolve.
Yeah, the fact that Bigatron Alpha are using the turtle to basically equalize in terms of the gold lead, that's a-okay. But I also like to put more focus over the side of the gold lane. If you compare game number 1, it's Saken on the Harif that is just literally snowballing out of control, right? Now, this time around, AP Brand, I don't think Super Marco is really comfortable on this early game. Super Marco feels like this kind of player that's really strong, especially in the later parts of the game. You sacrifice the early game, and then you just pop off in the late game. It's like, when you play D&D, you point by, right? You can only be good at one thing. If you want to be good at early, mid, and late, you're just going to be subpar, jack of all trades, right? But Super Marco decides to invest all these points into being that Super Marco late game.
And I think this has been a very common trend for AP Brand. It's all about having Kaltizi, getting the momentum going early on, and the later the game goes, the more responsibility is put on the Super Marco, and he happily takes that on. Every time we head to the late game, it's either Kaltizi or Super Marco that pops off.
Yep, definitely. And Zorizo this time around for the side of Bigatron Alpha, right? He's not a Fredrin anymore, so yeah, he knows that he's unable to face tank. He's actually buying space for Super Ken to do whatever he wants. By the way, this time around, the Joy wasn't able to snowball. One of the win condition for the Joy in the early game is to get that snowball going. Your farm as a Joy in the early game is slower as compared to a higher booster, right? So that's why Super Ken, if he doesn't really find that snowball, he's gonna fall off tremendously in the late game. But then again, if you look at AP Brand, this is a roster that relies on Few and Super Marco and also Awkward, right? These three will be kind of like, especially Few and Super Marco, right? These two are your backline, right? And they will stick together. And if they stick together, they're gonna just get all the damage by Super Ken in this out, and we're back to game.
Super Vin charging out the Tyrant's Revenge, but no follow-up. No info on AP Brand so far. That gold crack going over to Saken as he funnel everything towards it. Meanwhile, Vin lane, Super Ken with the help of the hard guard trying to run down AP Brand. Swiped to the side by the final slash. Super Ken running away with the help of that Alice, but it doesn't really matter. The flicker from Awkward into the kick will finish him off. Massive punish. Super Vin comes in, catches 2 on the back, but Super Marco able to get away in time as Zorizo shows up with a flicker, rams Kaltizi into the wall, and both junglers go down.
Yeah, mid lane open for the contest, right? AP Brand was the one that got the first jumps. You can see how Super Ken contributes into the team fight, right? Just denying off the call altar. Bigatron Alpha knows, and they just jump in. Super good setup by the side of Super Bin to set that all the way up. And don't forget, Saken right here is joining the party of Bigatron Alpha, and you can see immediately they got that 1 kill.
Gotta watch out if you are AP Brand. Super Marco still trying to get his levels up. Zorizo and Key pressuring him as well. This is definitely a slower game for Harif compared to what Saken had to endure in game 1, right? He had a massive lead, he was running everyone down, but this time, not the same for Super Marco. Definitely struggling against Bigatron Alpha.
Yeah, and then you start to ask the question, right? Harif in the late game is not the strongest gold laner at all, right? Yes, this time around with the new patch does help him with the life steal just a little bit more, but then again, you know, you don't really have that pushing power as compared to a marksman, right? Like, and also you rely on Bigatron Alpha to make the same mistakes that AP BREN to fight in that choke point. Bigatron Alpha, I think Sakin knows how to deal with the Harif, so I don't think Bigatron Alpha will attempt to make that same mistake. Easy looking for angle right here, find a swing, catch a super bin.
And they will not be able to get the Lord though, unfortunately. Super Ken will secure that very easily. Supervin gives his life away, but most important part for Bigatron Alpha is that they get the objective, Lord in their favor.
Yeah, they weren't able to punish Bigatron Alpha even more. Super Vin bought enough time, and that's the power of Bigatron Alpha, right? That's the power of Super Vin in buying a lot of space for Super Ken. Even though he's far behind, I just need to press the wretched finger, and Zorizo just bug us out of there.
Very, very straightforward gameplay for Bigatron Alpha. They know that, well, AP BREN, sure, they got some early kills, but they're not exactly the hardest to finish off, right? Kautizi, he's not gonna even stand a chance against Super Ken. So all things considered, that early lead from AP BREN, you said that the pressure to Kautizi, he got, you know, 2 early kills, but to translate to Super Marco, none of that was allowed to happen. So Bigatron Alpha, in fact, are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely, right? With the Lord Intel up top right here, Bigatron Alpha putting a spear here instead. That's a conceived play coming in. Super Ken jumping onto Flapteezy.
It's gonna be the final slash right there. Kautizi trying to clear out the wave as fast as possible. The bounce to the back actually finishes off Key. They will trade fuel in return, but AP BREN, you're gonna be happy with that trade.
Yeah, definitely, right? Like, you're gonna add even more kills for the side of Kautizi. He's gonna snowball, but don't forget, look at Key right here. Immediately after he's dead, he actually secured an ice cream one of the important items for the Angela as well. So now Kautizi needs to be a bit more careful. He's gonna get perma slowed down if he's not careful by Key. And not only just that, right? Like, he's gonna get kited around if Kautizi wasn't able to just instant kill or instant delete anybody with the Shadow Q.
Try to test that triple buff again. Ogwen losing majority of his health, and Q comes in clutch with the call Alta. Final flash used as well by Flapteezy, trying to keep Bigatron Alpha away, but Flapteezy overextends to the back, and Bigatron Alpha just comes back in with the damage and the re-engage. Sakin free hitting everyone. The Tyrant's Revenge to follow up Super Vin, catching Flapteezy, and this time there's no running as Sakin finds a double.
Ooh, Sakin was huge right there. He maintained a very good range. Super Vin just setting up really nicely once again. AP BREN wanted to fight Bigatron Alpha in that choke point, and once you see Kautizi wasn't able to secure the kill on Sakin, he's unable to do anything as well. Yes, you take down Key, but what can you do? Here comes Onslaught.
They need to take out Sakin. Look at that. Sakin stands his ground as Super Ken runs down Kautizi. The attempt is there. Super Ken wins that one. The kick is going to be down onto Sakin, and finally Ogwen takes him down with the help of Few. Bigatron Alpha fighting a bit more than they could chew.
Yeah, at the very least, you know, AP BREN's trying to look for any form of ways to sustain. Just take a look. Super Ken does have the EXP lead in the favor. Blood Wings already built by the side of Super Ken already. So more shields going into and more sustainability and more survivability for this Joy. Now, AP BREN, as long as they actually maintain, you know, the 3 inhibitor turrets up, AP BREN does stand a chance. Don't forget, Super Marco is this late game marksman or late game gold laner. But if you take a look on the other side, Bigatron Alpha has so much structure standing, and their defense is robust.
Oh yeah, the defense absolutely ironclad right now. All the tier 1s still alive. AP BREN, 3,000 goalies behind. You see Zorizo, he is so deep in the jungle of AP BREN, just watching over the purple buff. He knows that Kautizi will go for it. And Super Vin has already zoned out the rest of AP BREN. I don't think they can contest this lore at all.
Not at all. Super Vin is just zoning around, just making sure Super Ken can basically do his own thing, right? And now the only thing that AP BREN can do is just try to control the wave, try to slam it shut against Bigatron Alpha. But Bigatron Alpha has so much structures, right? And this means that they've got so much map control. If I'm able to paint the picture, it's mostly Bigatron Alpha side of the map, because AP BREN has lost way too many structures they cannot hold. And then even though, you know, Few does have that pseudo tankiness, the Cow Altar, right, coming into play, that doesn't help, because all the members of AP BREN is constantly getting bursted down, and not only just that, getting knocked up sky high by Zorizo. Sakin, if he's not dead, AP BREN will die in any form of team fights, and Bigatron Alpha and AP BREN decides to handshake.
Super Vin getting slide back by the final slash. Lord is already dropping low, and there's no way for Kautizi to even attempt this. He's gonna show up with the shadows, but very, very late. Bigatron Alpha gets a free objective.
Yeah, AP BREN, I don't know, like, man, I think the game plan right now, instead of trying to catch Sakin, their main goal is to try to pick Bigatron Alpha frontline bit by bit. But that's exactly what Bigatron Alpha wants to do, right? Fight front to back. But if you take a look at the items, there you go. You can see Saken already securing the Holy Trinity. Instead, also going into the, I believe that's a Malefic Roar as well. So that Melissa is going to do a lot more damage towards these structures. But if you take a look on the other side of AP Brand, right, that's also going to be the Dawn Eyes, which is definitely needed for the side of Awkward to sustain and survive through the attack speed and deny seconds on the attack speed, right? Then also, right now, Super Marco, instead of going for the concentrated energy, went for the Holy Crystal first. He thinks that he needs more damage, but then again, he's sacrificing on survivability. He's relying on Fiu with the Cow Altar on that one.
They're trying to stop this door and protect that inhibitor turret. The bottom one will be safe for now, but the mid one will fall thanks to Saket and Cole. AP Brand not able to do too much. Kautizi playing sideways, but look at Key on the map as well. He knows that Kautizi is somewhere, so he's not even showing himself. Super Win charging up the Tyrant's Revenge, looking for Flaptizi. He's gonna connect. No follow-up with the Tyrant's Race just yet. It hold is very slow. Flaptizi to the back instantly. There's a kick on the Sorizo. They need to finish him off, but it's going to be the stun re-engage from Bigatron Alpha. Might have been a massive mistake as Saken goes absolutely berserk with a double. The Muddles completely shredding through the health bars of AP Brand, and suddenly they find themselves 3 men down. As Field responds with the reduced respawn timer. The passive will help him up a little bit, but Bigatron Alpha cracks open the bottom inhibitor at the same time. Midwave showing up. The barrier is gonna allow Bigatron Alpha to sync up 2 waves at once. And look at that, Ogwen, 15 seconds away. Flaptizi needs another 20. Engage from Super Wave is gonna go wide. The Muddle lay down as well. Kautizi needs to survive for as long as possible. Field will drop down the Cow Altar to keep his team and buy some time. The OG Shadow Kill not enough. And Super Marco is gonna get run down by Super Ken. And Bigatron Alpha, they're gonna trade 1 for 1, but AP Brand have lost so much.
Yeah, no more Zorizo to basically fix the waves. They know better not to tangle with AP Brand anymore. AP Brand just literally throwing bodies. But this is not a very good place for you!
He's gonna try and face check that brush, and it's a fatal mistake. And now it's gonna be bad news. Ogwen needs another 30 seconds. They need as much time as possible. Kautizi, can you work some magic? Super Ken tanking some shots from the crystal. And that's enough to force Bigatron Alpha back.
Yeah, the area clear for the Ghost Bursters are the only thing that kept AP Brand alive. Luckily, Few does have that, you know, Cow Altar and also the respawn timer coming in to basically coming a little bit clutch for the side of AP Brand. Bigatron Alpha, this is a big problem right now. If you can't end the game in the early, like right there and then, Bigatron Alpha needs to try something else. There you go. They're going to go for the Lord instead right here. There's a lot of space for Bigatron Alpha to work with unless Kautizi is able to try to sneak away the Lord with the shadows. But look at Sake and look at how the members of Bigatron Alpha are stacking.
Yeah, too late. Kautizi again late to the party as Ogwen. He's going to get shredded by Saken. Fuse going to have it caught out the pop, and now Flicker to safety. Doesn't have the dash, doesn't have the face to go through the wall, and Bigatron Alpha surely is a game 3, right? The Lord is going to march down mid. 2 dead on the side of AP Brand. Phil will be back in 10, but Ogwen needs another 20.
Yeah, Few should be coming back up just in time for the base defense, right? Maybe that's the differentiator against Bigatron Alpha onslaught. But Saken's tremendous right now. Look at Saken. He does have the Inspire going in. If he dedicate that Inspire over to the core, that'll be big.
And Flaptizi already caught out by the Tyrant's Revenge. He's gonna go down. So AP Brand left with 4 members. Super Ken trying to run down the members. Super Marco is gonna be the target. They're gonna power onto him, and the core is gonna be dead before AP Brand even knows it. And Bigatron Alpha pushes us the distance.
Yeah, going to game 3. You asked for it, right, Husky, in the early on. You want to see this series go that mile. Both these 2 teams was able to deliver. AP Brand right here acknowledges the power of Bigatron Alpha. Super Vin, the crazy engager from the side of Bigatron Alpha, delivered that win. Super Marco wasn't able to become the late game Super Marco that we know and love, and they ultimately fall for it. And all because that Kautizi wasn't able to find the backline, wasn't able to find Sake, and that's where it really started to crumble for the side of AP Brand.
And the degree, the magnitude of counter engages from Bigatron Alpha is also incredible.